Right. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. It just moves that down a bit or up a bit. Up a bit. There we go. So we're on to part 9 of the build. It's quite a long build because of various bits and bobs. So where did we get to? If I remember correctly, we'd done all that. We'd painted all these bits and pieces in here. No, sorry, this is the Phantom box, I think. Is that the... yeah, they're the Phantom bits and pieces. So, where had we got to? We'd put that in. We've got the 2 sides done. Oh, it looks like it's the pilot. Well, we can skip the pilot for the moment. That's in there. That's okay. We can come back and make him if indeed we do have him in. So we need this section here, number 5, and we need to look at getting the pilot sorted out, maybe. So I think these must be the... yes, this is the... here we go. Right, so here's the pilot. He actually needs priming, so we'll stick him sit there so he can watch what's going on. There's our front section there. La, da, 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 da. And then we've got... I hope that hasn't snapped off. It looks a bit dubiously short there. But that is... right, it's confusing there. Just a second. Yeah, this is part of the set. That's for the seat. The seat is on there, so we'll do that first. I don't need that yet. Don't need that. But we do need those. So just make sure I've got... yeah, right. Let's pop this seat on here. It looks fairly straightforward to pop in, but I remember I did dry fit this the last time we were on here, and it wasn't an excellent fit. It was a bit unclear exactly how it went. We've got a couple of lugs there, so I think that goes in there. And comes down like that. So, yeah. Spot on. Right. So, it's a bit easier than I thought. Just it just fits in those little lugs there, and all we're going to do, tiny little bit of tech. This is the standard one, not the quick drying, and just touch it where the join is, and if you've got it right in the light, you will actually see the cement run down and flow through the rest of it. Unfortunately, one of these is not straight, that's why. So we've got a minor problem here. It's nothing to... so just so you can see, obviously when it's been drying a while, it's in the box. This side here has gone, it's splayed out a bit. The other side is straight, and this side splayed out a bit. So the seat hasn't got anything to rest on really, that side. But the best way to deal with that is to re-put, because obviously it's it's been cemented. Put a drop of TET down the joint, almost like you're gluing it on again, and then give that a couple of minutes. Well, not quite a couple of minutes, and that will loosen up the glue, the bond that's already there. There we go. And then just make sure it's straight. Just make sure I've got that straight. And then just run a little bead down the back side again. Just to make sure. Right, let's try and get that on. There we go. We've got a much better fit now. And we're going to do the same with the seat. And get a nice good join down there. It's still over a bit. I need some sort of clamp on there. Oh, it's really fighting me on this. I need to see if there doesn't appear to be a gap. So is it meant to slide down completely behind there? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Let me just pop that up a bit. That's where it goes. Where it goes, nobody knows. Maybe I'm putting it on wrong now. Let's get Oh, this is one of those times. Stay calm. Stay calm. Stay calm. You're not going to throw it out the window. Oh, one side comes out. The other side pops in. Right, I'm going to have to take a different approach here, I think. So that's down there roughly where it needs to be. Oh dear. For those that are new to modelling, this is a godsend, this stuff, especially in situations where you need to get some stability in before you can really make any progress. It's great on these little joints like this. So in this case, I am going to double check the drawing. I'm just going to flood. Got to be very careful because it comes out super quick on here. Right, it's not coming out super quick. I think the end's blocked. Yeah. Right. Okay. I don't know why that. I can't unblock it at the moment because my hands are full. Now this is a thicker one, so it might work better anyway because it's a black seat. And it'll also fill in above the join, so we won't see. And then we'll have a bit of a blast. That activates the glue virtually instantly. So much trouble over one little seat. Yeah, it's still splayed out a bit, that's the trouble. So we'll get some on that. This is where I need another pair of hands. Let's see if I can get. Yep, we're still in on that side. That's a good thing. Not quite on that side though. So now that side's definitely in now. I'm just going to pop a little bit over the top, which is going to act to fill that gap, so that you can't see where it joins. If that's so that sets. And because I'm using the black super glue, it doesn't leave much of a trace at all. So, you know, I could probably get away with that as is, but I shall come along and touch up with a bit of paint. See, I think that's meant to go in there. I think that's meant to go like that. Yes. It's not very clear on the drawing, but Yeah, that's much better. And then I've got a nice strong fix there, but on this side it's sticking a bit proud that it's not quite gone in right. So I'm just going to try and move it over slightly if I can. Although I might be better off just leaving that and sanding it back a bit. It has got a tight. I've just got to think: is it worth me trying to make all that flush there at the risk of completely buggering up the rest of the seat? I could probably come in with a small file and sand that down, put a bit of paint over the top, and be none the wiser. It looks straight. It looks good enough. It's a bit loose on this side, but that's because I haven't yet attached this point here, which I'm about to do. Yeah, so we'll get that in there. Right, that's the seat done. That's ready. Now let's turn our attention to Jan Zambuk here, I think his name was. Although I know it's a Mark 5 or 4B, can't remember exactly. I'm thinking of trying to get a different decal set and painting it up in a different markings altogether, because I'm looking around and there's lots of people that have done this 5B. Many people have done it and they've all done excellent jobs of it. So I'm thinking, what can I do that's different? Because I don't like to be seen as just copying. I've lost the lid now. Can anyone see the lid? Hello, Paul. How are you? Purple pointy lid. Oh, there it is, right in front of me. Yeah, so I'm thinking of, I don't know, maybe there is no available markings. I can't believe that's a Spitfire, but snippers. Talking of snippers, don't forget, so we've got our Soviet aircraft build going on. Runs till December the 31st. Any Soviet plane, jet, and you stand the chance to win. First place prize is a pair of display cutters, sprue cutters, which are highly sought after and very difficult to get hold of. Sometimes they're more difficult than others. But I hope to take some in soon, and I'll be doing a review on them. And yeah, they're first place prize. I said I was going to do all the cleanup before the shows, but I forgot about his arms. Obviously, he needs a bit of. We'll put that on in a second. We will put some filler in. Oops. Oh, come on, where are you? You know, I'm still trying these out. These FlexiFiles system. My opinion's still pretty much the same. The frame, superb. I would actually. Neil was telling me he's got like 4 or 5 of these frames with different tape on each one, which I think is an excellent idea. So yeah, these are unbeatable when it comes to sanding small round parts and so on. Now these, I don't think they're up to the standard of the ISM sanders at the moment. I'm still not convinced, mainly because they tend to come away very easily at the ends, and I don't know. I can't put my finger on it at the moment. I mean, I haven't used them prolifically because I've only really been looking at my Escort and this, so I'm still really getting to grips with them. But first impressions are especially when you wet sand with them, they don't like that. We've had some thunder and rain last night. We've had all rain this morning, so British weather's come back. It's come back from its holidays. I wonder who'll be the first person to moan. Now you may wonder why I'm not using the A-frame for these arms, because they are sort of round, and it's basically because I want to try and I don't want to make the creases less. So he's got creases all in the arm. I don't know if you can. Turn up the light down a bit. And I want to keep them creases. So if I go in with the tape, it's going to pretty much rub a lot of them out. With this, I can go in at a slight angle and sort of keep that wedge there, that sort of wedge shape. That's the plan. There we go. Right, they may have to go on cocktail sticks, I think, to be painted. So what we'll do with those is, see, that one's got a bit of a hole in already. Not it. Oh, is it enough? No. So we're just using the hand drill. There it is. Don't go too far through. We'll end up going through the. Right. Let's put a bit of glue on there, in that. And then we'll leave that there to dry. And do the same with this one. So you can do this with all the pieces if you want, when you're putting them on cocktail sticks, because I've had trouble with this in the past, and it just depends how you want to do it. But what I normally do is find a surface that's flat, not being used. Maybe it's a datum edge that you can glue onto. Is there something wrong with this drill? Is it broke? I think that drill bit's bust. It doesn't appear to be working very well, so let's pop another one in. There we go. Don't think we need much more. You don't have to thread this all the way through. All you're really looking for is a little base, just to drop a little bit of super glue in. You don't want it to be, you're not like looking for a permanent fix. well, this really doesn't want to work. So fall back to the good old stuff. Oh, yeah, typical. Pick that up in a bit. Oh man. Let's go a bit deeper then. There we go. Wow, it's really playing up today. There we go. So they're both ready to be painted up. Always keep your glue top clear, especially with super glue, and put the lid back on as soon as you finish using it. Right, now we're going to just run some filler. You can see that we've got some gaps where Mr. Yan has having a bad day with his legs on both sides. One side's worse than the other. So all I'm going to do is just run a little bit of Mr. Surface of 500 over the gap. I use this stuff a lot. I highly rate it. I only discovered it. I mean, people have been using it for a long time, but I only discovered it, not more than maybe a couple of months ago, something like that. And it has made a massive difference. I really am only putting a small amount on. The 500 is quite thick, so I don't want to put too much because I don't want to destroy too much detail. So I'm just going where the gaps are. It evaporates quite quickly. Be careful when you're working over it because it's got quite a powerful smell, and it can make you lightheaded. A couple of times I got caught out with that, and I've had to go and open a window and move the bottle away. And a little bit down the bottom. definitely in there. Right. Can't really do much more with him now. Oh, just rub there. A little bit on his head. Right. And we'll just give this a clean in cellulose thinners. Hi, Chris. Hi, Rob. Right, what's next? So we come back to the chair because that's got to go in there. Now the thing is, can I put the pilot in once the cockpit's put together? I don't know whether to even have the. I mean, half of it boils down to how the pilot looks once once he's finished painting. If he looks like a dog's dinner, then I don't want him in the plane. So this is the seat, and it goes just in front of this box here. So we're sort of looking along that line, I do believe. Like so. Yeah, so we're looking at that. Yeah, it seems to be okay. What's this piece here? 51. This goes forward to here. So that goes in around there. Right, okay. Yeah. So for putting this in, I want to use something a little bit thicker, maybe a little bit stronger, but with a slower overall setting time so I can manipulate it. So I'm going to use, on this occasion, Citadel's plastic glue, which I found is actually quite good. So I just want to talk about the group a little bit. I'm quite pleased with the group. I'm happy how things are going. We've got some great people in here, and it's just running along really nice. We have a good hangout on a night, and we don't have any trouble really because we monitor it closely, and if there's any problems coming up, we sort of try and nip them in the bud pretty quick. That said, I'm aware that there was some things said on ISM's show on Friday, and I'll be honest, they looked to be pointing at me. The whole message looked to be specifically aimed at me. That's just a guess on my part. I did try and message Paul. He's ignored my messages, so that sort of confirmed to me that it was probably me. Now, on that, when I left ISM, I did, it wasn't really an amicable thing. I did leave. I wasn't thrown out. I left, but was not allowed back in. That was how that went. Now, I was very angry at the beginning. I was very upset by it all, and I said a lot of things, and which looking back was probably a bit silly, and and that was how things were back then. But I was in a bad place, and I was just really angry at it. I wasn't angry at ISM. And I wasn't actually angry at Paul. I was angry at the messages that got posted on my page. I'm not going to go into detail what they were or who wrote them, but it's irrelevant now. That was what pissed me off the most. But I've moved past that now, and now I'm at the stage where I might laugh and joke about it a little bit with personal friends. I never say anything in public as a rule now, because I just want to put that whole issue behind me now. I thought things were going well, but then this incident on Friday, which again I'm basing all of this on the fact that it just felt as though it was aimed at me. And I don't know what to make of that. I don't know whether somebody's trying to stir something up. I really don't know, but I'm in a great place now. I have no issues with anyone, and that's how I want it to stay. But if somebody's out there telling people stuff, then please stop, because it just encourages, it just makes things worse. They may be reporting stuff correctly. I don't know what they're saying, but it may be stuff that I said ages ago, which is completely irrelevant now. So it's important to me for a couple of reasons, and one is I've got this channel now, and I want to move on. I don't want to be constantly dragged back to what happened. I don't want to be raking over the same bloody thing all the time. It's done, and I just want to move on with that now. There are times when there are times when I'll think about it, and I'll probably think about it a bit too much, and I'll wind myself up. But that's human nature, I think. Some people are like that. But at the end of the day, I just, I'm a big advocate on everyone getting on in this hobby. I've always said it, always tried to say, everyone get along, make peace with people, don't do all this backstabbing and everything like that. I've never changed what I've said, and that's still my ethos now. The one thing I would like to say that I know it's got out there. People have called me a liar, anybody that knows me, and you can ask everybody that's met me, and they'll all tell I'm not a liar. I don't lie. In fact, it's the one thing I hate, lying. I can't stand it. So that's just a personal thing. I don't like being called a liar. So there we go. That's just my thoughts on what happened there. I hope we can move past it and just put it all at the back. So there we go. Thanks, Rob. I don't really want to get into so please don't start leaving comments over who said what or who did what or anything like that. I'm really trying to put a stop to this before it escalates into anything else. Like I said, I have tried to get in touch with Paul and speak to him about it, but he's ignoring me. But that's it's okay. That's fine. So there we go. Right, let's draw a line under that now. That is gone. That is consigned to history. And let's get back to this, which is the important thing, which is what we're all here for. So yes, I said I was going to use the Citadel glue, which is very good. Now I'm doing a couple of things wrong here, and I'm sure people have picked up on it already, in that I'm not cleaning the joins off before I put the plastic in. So just using a cocktail stick here, really. I don't want to go too far off the edge. There we go. Actually, I'm not going to use the Citadel glue. I've just thought it will splurge out because it's quite a narrow piece, and it will sort of block, when you squeeze a donut, it'll all come out the sides, and then it dries and it looks a hideous bloody mess. Right, let's just try with the TET and see whether it's going to work. Hopefully it will be strong enough, but I have got some white cap TET. Well, it's not TET, is it? If it's white cap, it's just Tamiya paint. So let's. So that's. There, I guess. I see. I've got to get this straight. That's the trouble. Right. Don't think it's. Right. there a minute. This is when, if you've got one of those mats with a grid all over it, this is when they can come in handy, because you can line the parts up with the grid. So oh dear. There we go. Just trying to clamp it together with my fingers just to get enough. There we go. So the seat is on. Getting there, it's looking quite good. Now we've got the. Now this is the last chance I've got really to get a good fit on the pilot. So now does that go in front or behind? So if we imagine the canopy's there, he's got his arms here, but no, I think we need to address the issue of the pilot before we can go ahead and put that in. So do I have the pilot in or no? Oh, wrong one. That's better. There we go. Yeah, we've got a good fit there. Not perfect, but and then that will sit in there like that. Well, either way, I never turned down an opportunity to paint a figure, because it's figures are something I enjoy painting, so it's always good practice. And I think we'll probably do that, and we'll probably do that in the next video. We've been going an hour now. Unless anybody's, if I can carry on if people want me to, and we can go on to prime this and paint the figure. Right, so just got to put this one back on here. This fell off earlier. So that goes there. Da, 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 da. If I remember correctly, it goes. Yes, it goes under there. And it's again a tiny, tiny little area that of real estate. What I mean by that is there's certain joins you come across that. Just bear with me while I find a suitable. So many glues. Just finding the one that's. I'll try that. Yeah, there's so let me get a pen so I can tell you what I mean when I say real estate for those that are newer to the hobby. So you get some joins. I don't like the bulkheads there, and you've got your bulkhead here, and you've got your fuselage half here. So when you come to glue, you've got all this surface area there to glue against. Lots and lots of what I call real estate. Right? Now you get other ones such as this, and literally all that's holding that is a tiny little piece, and you glue that tiny little piece to another tiny little piece. There's a little notch there, and it all hangs from there, and all it hangs on is that tiny little piece there. And the problem with that is it often fails. When pieces fall off, it's normally somewhere like that, which is annoying, even when you use super glue. So I normally try and use super glue on things like that. So I've made, I've cocked up on this one. Hands up. I know why this has failed, because I didn't clean it properly before I glued it. So I'm now going to use a fiberglass pencil brush thing, and just, I don't want to break this joint. And just clear away the paint. Go. And then I'm going to try super glue again, using the rocket on this one. And I'm not going to pour directly onto it. Just need a little drop. In case you're wondering why I didn't clean the top off that one, it's already quite badly destroyed. I'm just going to use the patented crap on tool. I just need to clean the old glue away. So I've just got a cheap oven lighter from B&M. I think they come in packs of 6 million for 70p. Yeah, that's cleaned it off. And a tiny little bit picked up there. I hope that's enough. We'll find out in a minute. So that on there already, so I'm just going to put a tiny bit more over the top just to try and strengthen it. No, come on. There we go. Just down the sides there. There we go. And that's the rudder pedals done again. Not very flammable, that one. Some of them are quite flammable. Yeah, Rob, possible. I don't know. Yeah, well, I mean, I can actually lock the thread so that there's no comments can be left, but you know, I will hope that people realise that you know, it's just not something that's wants to be dragged up again, and hope that people will respect that. If they don't, I'll just lock the thread down so that nobody can leave comments, but just ruins it for everybody else then, doesn't it? I just noticed he's got one arm longer than the other, much longer. Is it? Is it me? Just the way I'm looking at him. I don't know. Right. So let's give these a prime, and then at least we can't prime him because he needs sanding. So we can do the arms. We can do the arms. That's certainly. So let's get some primer out. I want maybe a dark grey. Dark grey, black. I'm not using any metal colours. Don't really want white. So we'll go with dark grey. Just put that over me lap a minute. I don't know whether we mixed up or not. Yes, Rob, I totally agree. I think you're right. You're absolutely bang on. Some people do like it. And some people are actually out to cause it. They just go in, say, leave a couple of comments that they know are inflammatory, and then sit back and watch their handiwork. You know, I'm not perfect. I've said things and done things. Nobody is, and that's the trouble. People tend to the ones that are causing the trouble. They'll remember stuff that I don't know, you said in 1965, and I see it happen everywhere, not just in modelling. You know, it happens on the news, and you know, so and so said this back in 1972 or whatever, and he's in trouble for it now. I'm of course referring to like people saying stuff. I'm not referring to other things, which of course should be punished. I don't want to go into that territory. Right, clean up. I finally run out of airbrush cleaner. All right, I've got some left in there. That's thinner, sorry. What to do? Cellulose thinners, but it's an acrylic. Let me try using just water. Scale Model Jedi. That's Simon, isn't it? I think that's Si. There we go. Let's get the cleaning jar over it. Oh. My spray boo's over there, but because I haven't got the camera set up for over there. I do have another camera that I can use when I'm spraying, but it's not set up. La da 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 da. I had a strange request from somebody. I don't know whether I've already told everyone this, but somebody actually asked me if I would sing while I was building. Yeah, you should maybe speak to some of the guys in the hangout before you ask me to sing. We do have a very musical hangout. So if you're probably not in the same way you're thinking, but yeah, it's very musical. You're all right as long as you're tone deaf. It's a good laugh, the hangout. So I mean, if ever you're if you're in the group and you want to jump in, that's fine. There's a link goes up almost every night. Sometimes it's only up for an hour or so. Other nights, like last night, we were there till 3 o'clock this morning. You know, so it's swings and roundabouts. And we build and we chat and we have a laugh. Some of us talk more than others. And we've got a good cross section of people going in. So, I mean, we've got them from the UK, from Germany, all over. America, I think we've got a couple of guys from America. They don't come in very regular, but they're there. There we go. That will do. I was saying the other day we're about cleaning my hair. I can't show you, I won't reach, but yeah, that's cleaning there. Oh, just pop that on there. So let's have a look at the. Let's have a look at these arms. Still a bit wet. So what colours are the uniform? So we've got number 30. Number 30 and 61, basically, the arms. It's pretty straightforward. Am I right? This one doesn't have a paint schedule. So it doesn't tell you what 30 is. Well, 61, I think it's a safe bet, is going to be flesh. So for those of you that are new, there's an app that you can get called what's it called? Paint Rack. That's it. I need to find it. Being hobby. So when we want to find out paints like this, you can go to Paint Rack, and I'll try and do it from upside down. But hopefully, let me get rid of that. Hopefully you'll see it better. So here's all the paints. Every paint you can get in all the different brands: Revel, Createx, Mr. Hobby, War Games, Foundry, Italeri. There's more, but I haven't got them all ticked. So we're looking for Humbrol, and we want number 30. Now, it doesn't list them in 1 to 30, so you can just put in, let's try 30 on its own. Yeah, so it's probably, would it be blue actually? Because they are the RAF. RAF's blue, but might it have been green back then? That's the trouble. It doesn't tell me which one number 30 is. It could be olive drab. That's not a help at all, unfortunately. So we just come out of that quickly, go into not Facebook, come out of that, go into the Tinterweb and type in the search bar Humbrol number 30. Press enter and it comes back. It's dark green matte. Right, so we know now dark green matte. So another thing we can do, back on paint rack, if you haven't got, so let's put in dark green matte on Humbrol. It's really hard. I'm going to have to turn it around to type that in. Dark green. It's already in the list at the bottom there. So it's in the list at the bottom there. So what if you haven't got that color? Now I don't have that color in Humbrol because I don't have any Humbrol colors. So we can go and look at that. Is this in focus? Yeah. I can go and look at that dark green enamel matte or acrylic matte. Let me just go back. I should have gone dark green acrylic matte. There we go. So then we look, we go down here. So this is the color tools. So now it gives us the closest colors available in every range, and you can slide them along if you wish. Oh, that one won't go. So it's saying Citadel have got one, but I don't have it. I know I don't have it because there's no circle in there. See, I've got that pink thing. There we go. So Citadel, Vallejo, fairly close. I've got Tamiya, look, an excellent match. It virtually blends into the background, which is this background is the color we need. These circles are the colors in Tamiya's range. That one in the middle is a dead match. So it is. I have two of them, XF73, and it's dark green. It's the Japanese JG Japanese, I don't know. XF73, did I say? Yeah, XF73. So we go to the paint rack behind. Oh. And I just have to find XF73. It says I have two. Ah, there's one XF73. Can't see the other one though. It needs updating actually, the app, because none of these are in that paint rack app. I just haven't updated it. I really need to go through and do it. Right. So I'm just going to paint the arms. Normally you would leave the primer a little bit longer to go off, but it's normally fairly good. It's the Badger Steinel Res relabeled under Ultimate Modeling Products, and it's pretty resilient. I have painted sort of more or less after priming before, and I haven't had any trouble. I wouldn't do it if it was a big kit or a big project and I just primed all a plane or something. I wouldn't then. Come along and paint it straight away, because obviously I want that finish to be as good as possible. Right, that's very, very thin, so I've obviously already thinned that, so I don't really want to. Might be easier just dipping the whole arm in like a hydro dip. Yeah, it's got a strong smell to that, so I think that's had MLT, Mr. Hobby leveling thinner in it. I can't see very well with this. Got to be careful around the cuff. I don't want to get it all over the hand. There we go. Right, let's pop that in. Where's the sponge gone? There we go. Oh, just pop that there a minute. Sorry about that. This is, incidentally, this is a test I'm doing on the MIG Ammo acrylic metal paints that they've got. So I sprayed my Ford Escort wheels in this, and I just wanted to see how resilient it is. So I've sprayed it on my little saber dog there, and I should come back at some point and attack that with some sanders and see how it goes, because traditionally metal paints are not very resilient. don't have to worry too much about a really smooth finish on clothing because it's creased and ruffled anyway, and it'll have sort of, in real life, it'll all have bobbles and everything over it from where it's been washed, etc. We've got a phone call. Hello? Oh, right. Well, I'm painting at the moment. That's why. Right. Okay. Bye. Angela ringing me to tell me that you can't see me face or something. You can only see the top of my head. So, there we go. That's the arms done. I can't really do anything about the body yet because it needs that dealing with. No, can't do anything with that, unfortunately. So there, the arms done. Let's clean the brush. Now I use, when it comes to cleaning the brush for Tamiya, I actually use a little jar of cellulose thinners. I don't like to leave cellulose thinners out open, like in a little tub that you keep dipping your brush in, primarily because it stinks, and it also evaporates very quickly, and naturally when stuff evaporates it has to go somewhere, and I'm hoping that that somewhere isn't in everybody's lungs, because you don't want that shit in your lungs. So I keep it in this little bottle, use it, seal it up, and then every now and then I'll come along and empty it and put some fresh in. Now I am going to be stopping using cellulose thinners completely. I'm going to use up what I've got, and then I'm moving over to isopropyl alcohol that you buy off eBay. I'm just going to use that. I know it's not as strong. I will keep like one of these empty ISM bottles. They're excellent for, you can take the label off and then put cellulose thinner in. The reason I say take the label off is because you don't want to confuse it with your thinner, with your ISM thinner, and end up going spraying cellulose thinners all over your work. I have a couple of them empty now, so I use them wherever possible. Now we're going to go on to do the hands. Now there, I'm going to do a flesh color, and I'm going to use a much finer brush for that. Yep, no, that's maybe too much. It's still too big. It may be time to crack out the yeah, I think we'll go with this. It's a 00. It's got a nice point on it, which is what I want more than anything. not too fussed about the size of the brush. I know I said that other one was too big, but please don't tell me I haven't got a flesh colour. There we go, I've got a skin tone. Again, I'm going to use my ceramic tile as my paint palette. So chuffed with this idea of this ceramic tile. It's got so many versatile uses. Put way too much on there. Still can't be helped. Need to be careful. I don't want to put so much on that I flood all the detail out of it. It's a bit thin. Ideally, probably would have got a better result spraying this. But it is what it is. It's not a problem. Just keep brush painting, and then it's probably going to require a further layer painting on it. Which is no big deal. So you can see it's going to require another layer. Come on. Ooh. No. Right, hold on. I have a plan. Well, trust me, it needs another layer. Yeah, it's very, very thin and watery, this skin tone on Vallejos. I'm almost tempted to put a couple of drops in the airbrush and just go over the top. Yeah, I'm not too impressed with that. But we'll see. Another thing that's worth noting for people that are new, when you clean your brush, whatever you do, don't send your brush to the bottom of the jar and rub it around on the bottom. This is what damages it. Just give it a side to side swirl, and then, you know, as you pull it up the side of the jar, just give it a turn, so that and you'll see the paint cloud away from the tip, and you see my tips come out in, you know, I haven't dried it yet, but it's come out perfectly, and that's just from giving it a clean. And then when I come over to a bit of paper towel, again, I just lay it on the surface, turn, and then very gently do that, and I've got a perfect tip. Is perfect again. And that's how you take care of your brushes. I did do a video on taking care of your brushes somewhere on the channel, if anyone wants to go and watch that. So I'm going to leave them to dry. I'll be honest, I'm going to come back and spray them hands. I'm not going to leave them like that. That's very poor, especially that. I don't know what to say about that. That's Vallejo skin tone paint, and it's just not even adhered to the surface. Not very good at all. I'll have to have a look into that. Maybe I didn't shake it well enough. I really don't know. Seems okay. Oh well. Right, well, what are we? We're 20 to 3 now, so I've got to go and take my medication, and the dogs have got to be fed. And so thanks for joining me. It's been a good morning. I know it's been an hour and 45 minutes. I've got up to 12 people today watching. Thank you so much. It means a great deal to have the support of so many people to come and watch what I'm doing. It really does mean a great deal to me, and thanks for doing that. Don't forget the Soviet live build we've got runs till December the 31st. Any Soviet plane, and first prize is a pair of Display sprue cutters. Okay, I think that's it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.